a little bit about how you've been provided with service, or has there ever been an opportunity in life where someone has done something nice for you, or someone has given you something unexpected that had an impact on your life? Or perhaps there's a time when you've served someone else, you've done something kind or charitable, and that's had an impact on you. Have you had any experiences like that?
I'd like to thank my uncle and aunt for taking me out of Houston, my Aunt Doris and Uncle James, because I grew up poor in the ghetto, and they saw that I was working hard, and I graduated from high school. So, their service to me was very it was right on time and helping me to excel and continue to move on what I wanted to do. But as I got older and being in the church, we go to the low income housing, which assisted government housing, which reminds me of when I grew up that way, that we got food delivered to us. So every Thanksgiving or a day before Thanksgiving, we would go to the low income housing and give out Thanksgiving food baskets to people each year. This was very impactful for me because it reminded me of how I grew up and how we used to get food delivered to us because we was on government assistance to buy food in order to eat. So it was kind of emotional to me because it was so real. It felt so surreal to me because I went through it as a kid growing up.
Did you ever feel like you had some of those meals at Thanksgiving that you were giving to others?
Yes.
When you were a kid, do you feel like people had given you food like that?
Yes, I would think so. They never told us where it came from, but I'm pretty sure it would be volunteers. The churches went out and bought food and had it delivered to us. And they went around in the projects and the low income housing and knocked on doors and asked, "Hey, do you want food? Do you want Thanksgiving dinner? You don't want it?" And my mother would always say yes, but us being kids, we were happy about it. We were happy to celebrate Thanksgiving with each other and just getting that food delivered to us.
So growing up that way with obvious great need for food and general security, how did you survive that? How did you get out of that?
Well, I have to say that God must have put a spirit in me early on. I was 13 years old. And, like I said, I grew up in poverty. I grew up poor. My brothers and sisters, they took the wrong path in life. They took on, doing alcohol and drugs. And at 13 years old, I said out verbally that I wasn't going to be like them. So I studied hard and made it through high school and graduated from high school, and I got a half scholarship to a junior college. And that was just the start of me getting out of there, getting away from the environment I was in. And then when I joined the United States Navy, that I never looked back. So that took me far away from the environment that I grew up in with my brothers and sisters. I mean, my mother, she loved us, but they just didn't listen. And I was the one that said, "Hey, you know what? I don't want to whoop it." So I did bad things, but it was just something in my mind and in my spirit that I decided not to be like them, and I worked hard to get out of that environment.
Well, thank you for your service in the Navy. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like that spirit that you had as a young child or a young man to say, I'm going to make different decisions than what I'm seeing everybody else make here in my life. That translated to when you decided to make a healthy body for yourself. That it was sort of the same scenario. You see people treating their bodies in a certain way, and you were the one that said, not going to be me. I'm going to do something different. So it sounds like you've had that special talent to make choices and not necessarily be influenced by the choices of others in a bad way, but you've actually had those influences be for good because you've been able to envision something different for yourself.
Right. Yes, I would have to say, like I said, it's just that it was a different spirit. It was a different vision and image in my mind, and I felt like, God was showing me my gift and my talent that's going to help me to help other people, not only for myself, to serve and help other people and help them to understand how to not to have to live on medication or how to lower their blood pressure, So I think it was just one of those spirit things again that God was leading me, as well as working for somebody for 16 years. I did my best, at what I did, tech support, but it wasn't my passion. And people would always say, "Hey, Benny, you should open your own gym. You should become a personal trainer." And I didn't think I could make enough money doing the personal training, but it wasn't the fact of making enough money from it. It's having a passion and a love for it, and helping and in motivating and encouraging people, not just in fitness, but whatever that they're going through in life, to help them to rethink what they're going through, because it could be worse.
That's a motivational message right there on its own.
Yes.
So who are some of the people that have influenced you for making good choices? Are there leaders in your life or people that you've looked up to? Maybe you don't know or have never met, but they've been examples to you of leadership or motivation or inspiration, something like that?
Well, even though I grew up poor, it has to be my mother. Like I said, she was uneducated, but she had some common sense, and she told me to get a good education and a good job, which I did. But then also, I remember growing up listening to Martin Luther King, and I heard about Rosa Parks, Abraham Lincoln and Harriet Tubman, and people like that laid their life down for the sake of equal rights, to end slavery. And, it made things better today that helped the United States to be a better country to live in without the restraints of color barrier of the people. Those were leaders that I looked up to, but to make a difference in people's lives and be appreciated what they did for our country.
That's great. And what great people to look to. They have made such a difference in the lives of so many. And I'm glad that you found that they could make a difference in your life. That's wonderful.
Yes. Yeah.
Are there opportunities when you have had to lead others? Or, have you been a leader probably in the military? I'm assuming you had some roles there where there were people you had to lead. Have there been instances there or other times when you felt like the role of leadership was put upon you?
Yes, I became a third-class petty officer in the military, and I was a radarman, which is communication ship to shore on the ship. And just motivating and leading my other shipmates to encourage them, because it was a hard life being on the ship and being out at sea, but it was just one of those things you learn to grow in the service. And it was just my gift and my talent, what God has given me, is to lead by example and to motivate and encourage people to be better and don't put limitations on themselves. They can do whatever they want to do and put their mind to it. So just one of those things, just being a natural leader by example and encouraging people.
Tell us what life on a ship is like in the Navy.
Life on a ship, it was very confined, but it helps you to grow mentally, physically, and emotionally. I took 2 tours over to the Persian Gulf, and that first tour was really tough. It was 4-month tours, and you're confined to the ship. And if you're not used to being confined, all you do is just go aft and forward and left, right, downstairs, up. So you couldn't go anywhere else. It's almost like being locked in your own house and not be able to go outside. Even though you see the land right there, that was very mentally tough. But it also helped you to grow up, and you also grow a tight bond with your shipmates, and you started, play games, and you started to talk to each other and, understand the whole concept of what we're doing. And it's not about us. It's about what we sign up for and be a service to our country.
I can't even imagine what that would be like. Well, to not be able to move around so much, and maybe you needed a space that was all your own and you just need to get away from everybody, but it was impossible to do, right?
It was. There was
no way to get off on your own.
Oh, my goodness. It was. Yes. That was hard. Even though you had a space, but it wasn't private. I see you over there. What you doing? So it was tough, but it helps you to grow, though. It definitely helps you to grow. So anybody want to join the service, you can do it. You put it in your mind mentally, and you grow from there.
Were you compelled to join the service, or was it your own decision?
Okay, again, another story. Okay. I lived in Michigan. I know, right? I lived in Michigan, Pontiac, Michigan at the time. So my uncle had sent for me. And I had moved from them in Troy, Michigan, and I moved with another cousin in Pontiac, which is about 10 miles from Troy, Michigan, south. And I worked a job, $4.25 an hour, and it's just one of those days where, the manager asked me, did I want to leave? And, I said yes. I started cleaning up, and she came back and told me that I couldn't leave, and I got upset. I'm a young 21-year-old hothead, 22, however old I was. But anyway, I took everything that I cleaned up, and I put it back in the cook walk-in. And the next day that I came in, the morning manager said, well, Benny, I got to let you go. So the thing is, with that, to make a long story short, I had a car to pay for. I looked in the newspaper, $1,200 to be relocate. Called that phone number, 1-800. It was United States Navy. Ooh, I thought I had the wrong number, so I hung up. So I called this number again. It was the United States Navy, and I said, hey, I'm looking for at this classified ad for a job. Be willing to relocate, $1,200. Yes, it's the United States Navy. Would you like to come down and take the exam? And I looked around, and I said, hey. Well, ain't nothing here for me. I said, I might as well. So that's how I joined the United States Navy.
Wow. So it was a little bit by accident.
Yes. But it was the best thing I could have ever done. I wouldn't have been here probably where I'm at today as well, doing what I'm doing and being the person that I am today if it wouldn't have been for that. And like I said, it has to be, just God's Spirit just guiding me all this time.
Well, that's great. Do you feel like you still have that guiding Spirit with you to help you with decisions today?
Yes, I do. Yes, even more so now because I'm more wiser now. I've got all the bitterness and the angry and the growing up out of me, as well as surrounding myself with the right people that can help me get to that next level and becoming a motivational speaker. I've been on this journey by myself for a long time. I try to figure it out and do it all by myself, and I kind of basically really stayed to myself. Now, being wiser, like I said, it is having the right people in my corner to help me get there. To the next level of speaking to the world, millions of people all over the world, God's will.
And so your audience, do you think, will be older people that need that steady motivation of keeping their bodies fit, or will it be the younger crowd where you can get them before they start eating crap?
that would be my that would be my ideal crowd, the older people, 45, 50, 60, 70, but all people are welcome. So, because some young people don't know how to eat well. Some young people are overweight and got bad health and on medication, on blood pressure pills, and they shouldn't be taking it when it's all about what they're eating, how much sugar, how much fat, how much bad food, processed food they're eating. But, my ideal target would be that, but all ages are welcome. Nobody is exempt.
It certainly is empowering to anybody when they put the right things in their body, because only when they do that, or the best thing, is going to be the outcome of those choices, that you can really empower yourself when you eat right and you exercise daily. You have so many more options than those people who don't do that. Like you say, they're either on medication or they have chronic issues, things like that. Getting them to understand that young is so important for their entire future, right?
Correct. Yes. Correct.
So what do you say to these fad, not really diets, but it seems like every week some new discovery for turmeric or kale is the next best thing, and if you eat it every day, you'll there's always these big ideas of some new food or some new substance or something they found in the Nairobi desert or something that's going to change everybody's life. And are some of those things helpful? Do you take any sort of supplements or anything like that, or herbs?
Yes, they are. I mean, the greener the vegetables, the better. But I would say don't confuse yourself with all these different types of diets and kale and this is the next best thing to help you. It's just all about limiting your processed foods and making sure you're preparing all your foods at home. Make sure you get